Start off the Monochromatic Polygon animal project by having a piece of painting paper, a pencil, and a ruler. You're going to write your name in block somewhere on the paper. As long as it's visible, it doesn't actually matter where your name in block is. On the handout, whether you're looking at the printed or digital copy, you'll see that there are 6 choices on the front, which have half of an animal head made out of polygons. A polygon is a geometric shape that has straight sides and angles. And on the back, there are 3 examples. One is a deer head with an antler, and 2 are actually full body animals of the owl and the bat. You can choose whichever of these you would like. I recommend picking one that you feel comfortable creating. The deer is very challenging, obviously. Something like the cat is obviously less so. If you're making a wide animal, such as the owl or the bat, you do want to work in a landscape orientation. If you are working with one of these animal heads, working in portrait orientation is probably fine. So on this sheet of paper, I've already folded it in half one way. Originally, I was going to do the bat example, but I'm going to do one of the animal heads. So I'm going to fold my paper in half. I'm going to fold from right to left and crease it. Because I already have an oops on the back, I'm just gonna flip my paper inside out so I have the undrawn on side, or the blank side, just has my name. And I'm gonna make sure my crease is on the right-hand side. That matters because you're going to use the transfer process to make a symmetrical animal head. So we're only gonna draw half of it, and then we're going to transfer it across. If I am going to work with the cat, for example, I would start by plotting out where the lines from the cat go. So I have this midpoint here, which would be right on my crease, but I don't want to put it at the very top of my paper because I have to leave room for the ear. So I'm going to put my midpoint right there on the crease. I'm going to scoot my pencil sideways, and I'm going to plot out these points just by eyeballing the distances. If you make a mistake, you can always erase it and try again, or flip your paper over. I'm going to start connecting the dots. So I take my ruler and I'm going to connect my dots that I have so far. This project looks like it's challenging, but it's actually really easy once you get the hang of it. So I've got my ear segments drawn out. It's going to be difficult to put these shapes in without having some kind of anchor point for them. So I'm going to go from this point to a point right about here, which lines up there. So I'm going to say it goes here. So if you're doing an animal other than the cat, you're obviously going to be looking at the image of your animal and plotting out the points and connecting them with the ruler. You don't have to do the cat just because I'm doing the cat in the video. The end of the nose here, let's say that's right about there. Okay, I'm gonna time lapse the rest of this. That way you don't have to see me create it in real time. Here we have the half of the cat head. It looks a lot more like a mountain lion now that I see it on my paper. It's not exactly like the reference image, but it's pretty close. You can tell, obviously, I was looking at where the angles were and plotting out those points. So now I'm going to go over my pencil marks with a soft graphite pencil called an ebony pencil, still using a ruler, and that's going to allow me to trace this across and transfer it much more clearly than my regular pencil. After the lines have all been traced with the ebony pencil, you can open up your artwork, and then you're going to fold so that your pencils are on the inside. Remember, I just have an oops on the other side. I was originally going to do a bat, but changed my mind. You're going to use the round end of a big Sharpie, not the cap end, to push down. So I'm holding my paper with my thumb and a finger or 2. And I'm just gonna rub on the back of my paper. In person, I can see my lines through the paper, so I know exactly where to apply pressure. Not sure that it's showing up super well on camera, but the nice thing about this process is that I can open it and I can check to see how my lines are transferring across. It's very faint still. I'm going to use the ability to see through my paper to my advantage. I'm going to apply pressure where I know the design is, right? Because it doesn't make sense to apply pressure where there is no design, because it's just not really a good use of your time. I'm going to put a good amount of pressure, holding my paper with my other hand so it doesn't wrinkle or move. And then opening again to check my work. It's working pretty well so far. I'm going to do some more touch-ups on the ears up here. They're not quite transferring. And this angle for the cheek. Notice I'm not slamming my pencil or I'm not slamming my Sharpie. Get the little details around the eyes a little bit better. That's much better. Okay, so you have a couple of options here. You can choose to outline the whole thing with black Sharpie, using a ruler, of course, or you can choose to outline the whole thing in pencil and just be able to paint over your pencil lines. It's up to you, really. I'm going to trace over this with marker off camera, and then I will show you how we're going to paint this. I have my palette set up with the color I'm going to use and black and white because this is a monochromatic artwork. Mono meaning one, chromatic meaning color. We're just going to make different tints and shades of a color. If you did want to make orange or purple, you would have to mix them because we don't currently have them in the pump bottles. So you can use the color as it is. So if you made orange or purple, or if you got blue or green or yellow out of the pumps, you can absolutely use the color just as it is. So I can take my orange, I'm just gonna paint one of the shapes. I like to use a small brush for the small areas, and I have another brush in my water cup if I need it. You wanna keep the paint symmetrical as well, which means if I'm painting this shape on my cat face orange, the mirror shape on the other side should be the same color or value. So if I had made it a lighter orange, I would paint it lighter orange. If I had made it darker orange, etc. Okay, so you're going to paint every shape on your animal. You're going to keep your design symmetrical. If you go over your Sharpie lines or your pencil lines, that's okay. You can always fix your lines or make them pop out again when your paint is dry. I'm also going to time lapse this because you don't need to watch me paint this in real time.